Thank you very much to our panelists. And now it's my pleasure to introduce our next session, a keynote presentation titled Get Lit or Get Left Behind, How Energy X Built the Biggest DLE Plant in the USA. And it's my pleasure to introduce you all to Teague Egan, CEO of Energy X. So please join me in welcoming Teague to the stage. Thank you.
Thanks, Hannah. Today I'm going to be doing an overview of Energy X and the projects that we're working on. So I'll just hop right into it. We have some forward-looking statements in this, some projections, so it's the first thing to cover. A quick overview of Energy X and what we've accomplished in the 8 years since I founded the company in 2018. We've raised $180 million of equity. That comes from a mix of institutional investors like General Motors, POSCO, and Eni, as well as now nearly 50,000 retail investors. So we have huge support from the retail markets, very proud of that. The team has grown to about 110 team members, and we're expanding now that we have operations at our demonstration plants, so that number might creep up a little bit, but we try to keep the number as low as possible. We have 3 lithium projects. I'll be getting into those as the meat of this presentation. But the core of Energy X and the reason that we started the company was based around technology. We are a technology-forward company, and we have 150 patents and patent applications across our consumables, like our media, our processes, equipment, DLE, etc. In the 3 projects, we have now over 200,000 acres of mining rights, and the in-situ resource sits at over 15 million tons. So we're trying to build as big of a portfolio of mining assets for when we commercialize our first trains. Those are easily replicable and repeatable. First, Get Lit. Our technology used to be called Litus. I felt like that was a very forgettable name, so I changed it to Get Lit. I think that resonates a little bit better, short for Get Lithium. Get Lit is 3 technology verticals that make up the DLE platform. So because we started as a technology company, it was very important that we were able to treat essentially every brine that a customer brought to us. We didn't want to be pigeonholed into having a technology that just worked on a Chilean brine or an Argentinian or a Bolivian brine. So we really needed to be able, in order to serve our customer, be able to process essentially any brine. What this equated to was we also have the flexibility to produce whatever end lithium product that is desired by the resource owner or eventually the customer. So we can produce lithium hydroxide, lithium carbonate, now lithium dihydrogen phosphate, which is becoming more popular for LFP chemistries. Also, we have initiatives that are focused on lithium metal, which is used in anodes, so we make lithium metal anodes, and even lithium isotopes, which are becoming more highly demanded for the nuclear material supply chain. Both fusion reactors and fission reactors need lithium isotopes, lithium-6 and lithium-7. And because of our Get Lit technology platform, we have the ability to do that. The 3 pillars are adsorption, extraction, and membranes, and we are able to create bespoke flow sheets based on a project, based on the composition of the brine, the geography, and the desired end product, and that provides great flexibility. Here's a picture of our adsorption skid in one of our plants. Adsorption is a highly used and probably the most pursued DLE technology. This just kind of shows you the scale at which we're working on today. We designed and developed all of our own consumables and technologies within those pillars. It's not like we license from other people and basically conglomerate them. We've designed and developed each of these and looked at the pros and the cons of what other people are doing and tried to optimize for that. We also make our own consumables. So we produce our own membranes. You can see this is our commercial roll-to-roll membrane manufacturing line. We produce our own sorbent, and we produce our own extractant for each of those three pillars. This is a major distinguishing factor in EnergyX. And even though we are now focused on our own projects and vertical integration, we still are open and willing and in discussions to license this DLE technology package to customers or third parties that have their own resources. So now our vertically integrated projects. We have three. Our first project was Black Giant. This is in Chile. We'll talk more about that. Lone Star, this is our project in the Smackover Formation. Some of our neighbors include Exxon and Chevron. And then earlier this year, we just announced our third project, which is in Utah in the Great Salt Lake, and that's via a partnership with Compass Minerals. So very excited about those three projects. All together, our plan is about 130,000 tons within the first two phases of that. We are thinking even longer term, but these are the three projects that EnergyX is developing to date. First, I'll talk about Black Giant. So a quick overview of Black Giant. As I mentioned, 100,000 acres in the northern Antofagasta region of Chile. We have up to 9.8 million tons here and some of the best lithium concentrations in the world. I think this is actually the third best concentration discovered at over 1,100 parts per million. You see 4 phases here. We really talk about the first 2, but the resource can support up to 150,000 tons. And this is the lowest unit economics of any project that I've seen. If you know of one lower, please come tell me, and I'd love to learn about that. We'll be producing lithium carbonate at this project. We see more and more demand for lithium carbonate, although lithium hydroxide is still strong. And the total investment here is $820 million for that 52,500 tons in the first 2 phases. But we are thinking bigger in terms of something that we call Lithium Mecca, which is a centralized refinery which will process all of Black Giant's brine into carbonate. But we want to be able to process other projects throughout Chile, and then even thinking about Argentina and Bolivia of our own projects and others. So we want to have that refining capacity for people that do the front end, and then we bring it to Lithium Mecca, and this is right next to the biggest export port in Chile that you'll see. This is our Black Giant demonstration plant of the front-end extraction. So we're building real things in the field. In combination with our conversion plant on the coast, this demonstration plant is 170 tons. So the next step is building the first commercial train of 7,500 tons, and we're doing it. This is going to be the first DLE plant in Chile, and very excited about what that means for the industry. This is the schematic. So you see X1 and 2, that's by the Solar. We have our integrated energy solution, we have our well field, and we have the DLE plant in the Solar. That's at a pretty high elevation. So after we extract and concentrate the lithium chloride, we truck it to the coast. You see X4 and 5, we have our integrated energy solution. And then we have Lithium Mecca, and it's right next to the biggest export port in the world for lithium and copper. Here's a rendering of what that will look like. Our goal is to build a 500,000 ton mega refinery here at Lithium Mecca that will obviously process Black Giant brine, as I said, but also others in the region. And we have a video on that real quick here too, so let's roll that.
Black Giant is going to become the first direct lithium extraction plant in Chile, and that's a huge change.
7 years ago, that we will be here thinking in this kind of project, it's impossible.
stuff. That's Black Giant. Now I'll talk a little bit about Lone Star, our US project in the Smackover. So we have almost 50,000 acres in the Smackover formation. You can see our neighbors are Exxon and Chevron there. This resource has up to 3.2 million tons. We are continuing to expand that resource. We do want to get up to 150,000 tons, continue to build that resource base. We have slightly lower concentration, but this is some of the best in the United States at 520 milligrams per liter from the wells that we've drilled thus far. And again, we're thinking in a modular, phased approach. So we are making lithium hydroxide, at least in the first phase of this plant, and that'll be nearly 15,000 tons of lithium hydroxide, followed by an additional 2 trains, getting us up to nearly 50,000 tons. CapEx, a little bit higher. We have to drill deeper wells. We do have to remove a few more impurities, including iron, so a few additional processing steps. But we're looking at below $20,000 per ton for that, and then below $4,000 per ton for the OpEx. We've completed FEL2 engineering with Worley, and we're looking at just over $1 billion for this project. This is the Lone Star pilot plant in Austin. So all of the brine from not only Lone Star, but this is where we test the majority of our brines that we've done from around the world. We've tested over 40 brines, perfecting the technology and figuring out what works on different compositions, et cetera. This is the demonstration plant. So you can see much more scaled up equipment. This is a 250 ton per annum demonstration plant. We just commissioned this in March of this year and are ramping up to 24/7 operations. So that's what this looks like from the outside. And this sits adjacent to 330 acres of surface rights on top of the 50,000 acres of mineral rights where we will build the commercial plant. And that is what this looks like. In the bottom of this picture, you can see the little 4 white tanks and the X on top. And then behind is where we will build the commercial plant. Also, this is right next to the Red River Army Depot, which is building the Sky Foundry. So the goal is for our lithium to supply US military applications and drones for that, as well as obviously energy storage systems and electric vehicles. Let's roll the video for Lone Star.
As a startup energy technology company, how do you even dream of building a lithium mega project in the United States?
We're rethinking critical minerals. We're developing breakthrough DLE technology from the ground up. We have to make lithium production orders of magnitude more efficient, more cost effective, smaller footprint, modular, faster to market.
It's insane what EnergyX has done in the last year. This place was literally just an abandoned army barracks less than 12 months ago.
How we supply the required critical minerals into our supply chain, I think that's the story of the century.
Everything that you're looking at the plant today is new technology. Like, this literally doesn't exist. There's other people trying to do it, not as good as us. Our costs are the lowest, our efficiencies are the highest, our recovery rates are superior. We're really taking like a SpaceX Tesla approach where we have to procure and develop our whole supply chain because it doesn't exist.
Our goal is simple: become the biggest lithium company in the world. And that is exactly what we are going to do, become the biggest lithium company in the world. Mark my words, 10 years from now, EnergyX will be the single biggest lithium company in the world, producing the most tonnage. And Black Giant and Lone Star will power that, but we are accumulating more resources, and Powderhound is our third project. So Powderhound is in partnership with Compass Minerals. They tried to do it a few years ago. A variation of factors caused them to pause that, and now EnergyX is coming in, providing the technology, providing the capital. Compass is providing the resource, and this will be our third project. So it's in the Great Salt Lake, 55,000 acres, 2.4 million tons. And we actually are pulling from their existing pond infrastructure, so we don't touch the lake at all. And the brine is between 500 and 1,200 milligrams per liter. Again, phased. The first phase will be 10,000, followed by an additional 20,000 to make 30,000 tons. Again, super low CapEx. This is actually very helpful. We have no upstream capital expenditures because the brine is already there. Additionally, no exploration. Like, the brine's there, we don't have to do anything on that front. Earlier stage, we're working on the FEL1 engineering study, and EnergyX is investing $400 million into this project. This is a rendering of what Project Powderhound will look like. Unit economics are incredibly important for us. I think that as lithium transitions into a commodity from a specialty chemical, our goal from the very beginning was to be the lowest cost producer. And we've focused intensely on our technologies and our assets and the other variables in our projects in order to be that. So on the left, you can see here us compared to North American players for Project Lone Star. We are the bottom in both CapEx and OpEx, and the same thing on the right here for South America projects. We are the lowest. This obviously helps us in terms of our offtake negotiations, in terms of our investment discussions and the people that are looking to back these projects. That is going to make, when I say EnergyX is going to be the biggest lithium producer in the world, this is the reason. Competitive advantages. I touched on our Get Lit DLE platform, which makes us the lowest cost producer. Of course, our vertically integrated tier 1 projects. The whole reason that we got into this is to be environmentally sustainable and create a better future in terms of the energy transition. Our water usage is the absolute lowest of not only any lithium company out there, but any DLE company out there. We have great partners, investors, and customers. And then, one of the things I'm most proud about is our team. We have an unbelievable team. And EnergyX has now been around for 8 years, and we have executed on everything that we said that we would do. And that's the number one thing that I want you to remember about me and EnergyX, is that we execute. You saw it in the videos. You see the real stuff that we are building. The reason we are able to attract capital is because we do what we say we're going to do. And last, EnergyX is open for business. We are obviously selling lithium offtake. I got up here on stage last year and I had the exact same slide. I've updated it a little bit. We now have a substantial amount of that either contracted or spoken for, which is very exciting. Our DLE licensing, we're in many very exciting discussions about licensing that to third parties. Resource acquisition, we acquired our third resource, so we made good on that promise, and very excited about Powderhound. We do have even more in the pipeline. And then finally, Lone Star financing. So last year, that was Black Giant financing. I was really pushing to make a huge announcement for this event, but unfortunately that's going to come in the next few weeks. But we do have the financing for Black Giant. So now we're looking for Lone Star financing. And Goldman Sachs is representing us on that. So either get in touch with myself or Andrew Timbers at Goldman. And with that, thank you very much.